Hi everybody. Welcome to Suzi's Kitchen in the RV again today. I am going to have a little fun with you while I make our dinner for the evening, okay? So what I'm going to prepare is something I call Suzi's Texarcana Taquitos. And the reason I call it that is because we're going to be using store-bought Taquitos. They look like this. You can get any brand in the box. They're the little round roll-up tortillas with meat in them. This happens to be chicken, and you can get beef. You can get different varieties. So because I'm going to use Taquitos, we call that the part of Texarcana is because I can pretend that I'm in Texas. I can pretend I'm from Texas. And Texas has everything delicious and big. And so we're going to do what my version of Texarcana would be for Tex-Mex. So I'm going to tell you what I've done already, okay? Because I don't want to keep you all night, but I also want to have some fun sharing. In this pot, and I'll be turning the video down so that you can see all the things I'm doing. But in this pot, what I have is just a few ounces, maybe 4, of chorizo, which is a sausage, a Spanish, if you will, sausage. And all I've done is brown it up. And the reason I've done that is twofold. I wanted a little bit of grease in the bottom of my pan, not very much. And I wanted a little extra flavor and meat in the taquito base because there's not a lot in those, but they are so easy to work with. And so I wanted to make this to show you how to make it because it's basically semi-homemade and it's so delicious. You'll use your casserole or oven at home. If you're in an RV, then I hope that you have, your stove access, whatever you use for your oven. But for me, I don't use my stove or oven, be as silly as that is. I use my Ninja cooker. And so I've had it for a long time and I enjoy it and it's very helpful. So I browned that chorizo sausage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our taquitos, and you don't need a lot of them if it's just the two of you. This will probably feed 4 people. But if you're very hungry people or you have a hungry person in your house, young growing kids, you might want to use more, and it would do maybe a huge 2 serving. So I have the sausage in this all browned up, and that's all that's in there. And I'm going to take these taquitos, I'm going to lay them this way, and I'll show you right when I get them laid out what I'm doing. And then we will put on all the goodie layers, I like to call it, that go in this because they're so good. But we want to have a good base. So in order to do that, I have to make sure we have enough of these. So I think that's pretty good. So let me get the camera turned around. I'm going to start showing you how to layer, okay? Bear with me while we do that. Here's all my stuff, okay? So, let's see if we can get you down there. Is that going to do it? I think it will. Okay, so here we have taquitos, all right? We're still going to bend you down a little bit more, I do believe, so that we don't have too much of an issue with that. Let me just loosen this up. I know it's not easy. Okay, so I'm going to tighten you back up. I think that's going to be as good as I can get us. Okay, so again, the pot of taquitos on top of that chorizo sausage, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a layer of black beans. Now if you don't like black beans, don't worry. You can use no beans, you can use chili beans, you can use whatever beans you love. We happen to love black beans. So we're just going to sprinkle about half of these over there, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an instant Spanish rice. Now, you can use whatever type you like. They have these in cans. Spanish rice. I know it's backwards on your screen, but this is just a Knorr's type blend, and I just cooked it in the microwave, set it in the fridge when it was done, and was ready when I needed it. So I have a package of Spanish rice. All we're going to do is we're going to add this to the top of the beans and the taquitos, half of it. So we're just going to sprinkle it in. And again, I believe El Paso or some one of those makes canned Spanish rice. So you can make the canned if you want to use that. If you make homemade Spanish rice, just save some for this dish, because I often do that and it's quite delicious. So we want to just have some of this layered everywhere. Remember, when you're making something like this, you want everybody to get a good bite of everything. You don't want someone to get all this and all that and someone get none of this and none of that. So keep that in your mind, okay? Now we've got that in, and now I'm going to add a little cheese, okay? This is Monterey Jack. You can add pepper jack. You can add whatever you like. I'm just going to add a small layer to this. All right. Now I'm going to add some sharp cheddar, just a little bit. Okay. Not a lot on this first layer, okay? Just so everybody gets a nibble of the same flavors. All right, so we have the cheese, and now I'm going to add something I love. This, you can use any brand, but this is guacamole salsa, okay? I use this because it does have some spice, so beware. You'll want to look, if you can, for a mild, which is what I have. But shake it up, and then we're just going to drizzle this over this first layer. Real easy. As you can see, I'm not going real heavy with it. Just a little bit here and there. We want a little flavor everywhere, okay? Hey, that kind of rhymed. That's cool. But anyway, I love this stuff. I could make guacamole and I could make salsa, and I do. But when I don't have time and you don't have time, we don't want to do that. So now we've added the guacamole salsa, all right? And we're going to go ahead and add now some fire roasted crushed tomatoes. And these are actually diced. So I'm going to add just about half of these. Okay, now I'm going to take my little spatula, because we don't want a lot. Again, I'm just going to spread them out a little bit, so each little bit has some tomato in it, and each little bit has that little bit of fire roasted flavor to it. Okay, and if I think that it needs more, simple enough. Just put a little more and spread it out. Okay, so now we've got that going. We've got everybody with a little of every flavor, okay? I know I drill that home too much, but it's so important. You want everything when you bite into food and you're using all those calories and energy. You want to taste it. All right, so we've got the tomatoes now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add another layer of taquitos, okay? So just start piling them in there. Just like this. Right over top. I worked in the medical field for many, many years. Many years. And in doing that, we had a lot of potlucks. So over the year, a lot of bring your own dish, a lot of different things for doctors' events over the last 35, 40 years. And this was one of the dishes that I would make, and the doctors truly loved this dish. It was always one of their favorites, and I was always very proud of it because it's so simple. Now we've got the taquitos in, okay? So we have some beans left over. We're going to go right down the middle with these beans. And then when we're done with the middle, we can take this and just kind of spread them out. And again, if you don't like beans, you don't have to use beans. If you don't like chorizo, because it is spicy, I know, you can use some rotisserie chicken in the bottom. It's just to have a little extra protein in there, a little extra Zuma flavor, okay? All right, so we have that. We're going to do now our rice, the rest of our Spanish rice. We're just going to pour this in here. You're going to love the flavors in this and the textures. It's really such an easy thing. If you're having people over, I'm telling you, this is the easiest dish to put on, stick in the oven, make it look beautiful, and have you come out a star. So, Suzi's Texarcana taquitos are pretty delicious, and we really love them here in our house. Okay? So now, we've got the rice, got the beans, time for some cheese. This we'll do a little backwards. We'll do the cheddar. Now you can add your cheese to finish it up, because it won't get all the way to the bottom. It'll go through to the middle. That's always a good thing. All right, so let's dump this all back on there. And I'm using probably about 10 ounces of cheese, maybe 12 total for the whole thing. And I'm sorry you can't see me, but I'm here. All right, so we've got the cheeses. All right, we're going to go ahead now. We're going to do something a little different. Whoops. This is my favorite enchilada sauce next to my own. I can make it. I love to make it. But this is one of my favorites. It's Frontera Grill. It's a red chili enchilada sauce. It has roasted tomatoes and garlic. It's not extremely spicy, but it's so good. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pour some of this over the top. Just like this. No, they're not enchiladas. But everything about this is delicious. Okay, so a package of that, and if you need to know it's about 8 ounces, you could probably go 6 and you'd be fine. And then we're going to finally do one more layer of this, just over the top, nothing heavy. It's going to be beautiful. All right, now give me a chance to rinse my hands off. All right. Now I'm going to lift this up. I want you to be able to see what you're looking at. Nice and close. Can you see that delicious dish? It is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to bake this now at 375 for about 40 minutes at best. You'll know when the meat inside one of the taquitos are done. You can use a thermometer and check it. Let me tip you back up here. Bear with me. I know it's a ride. It's a little bit of a jiggle, especially in the RV. I know. All right. But I appreciate the fact that you're waiting out for me to get done. So you have it. You have Suzi's Texarcana taquitos, and your family, if they love Mexican food, is going to love it. The thing I want to drive home to you is to make it yours, okay? Try it the basics first. You can change out your meat. You can change out what type of taquitos that you use. You can change out the cheeses that you use. If you don't want to use beans, you don't have to use beans. If you don't want to use rice, you don't have to use rice. But I recommend trying at least the very basics with the beans and the rice until you decide how to make it your own. We are going to have this for dinner, and when I serve it, I'll take a picture as I plate it. But when this is done, we will dish it out and we will put in there over the top some fresh, crisp iceberg lettuce, some fresh chopped tomato, some fresh onion, and some sour cream. And you just couldn't get any easier, and you couldn't get any better than this. So do it at home, okay? Make it at home. Come into the kitchen with me. Just come back, check out what you need to check out to get it right. But don't worry about it. It's simple, and it's easy. It's semi-homemade. You saw how long this took me. It takes me longer to tell you how much I appreciate you coming and spending time in my kitchen with me. But I can't beg you. I can't. But I will ask you to please, please, please share this video with your friends. Share this video with your family. Share this video with everyone that you possibly can. And ask your friends to please share as well. I know that it's God's desire and plan for me to get into every kitchen that I possibly can, because I know that He loves people to be around a table. He loves people in general. So when we can come together and we can spend time in the kitchen encouraging and learning and loving, I know that pleases Him. And that's my goal, is to love Him that much. So help love me that much, okay? Share, share, share. And especially share this dish, because I know you're going to love it. I appreciate you. I'll miss you until Tuesday. Have a great day. I'll post a picture later so you can see how it looks on the plate.